I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I am a sucker for a good love story. I'm a big fan of romantic love interests. I watch a decent amount of romance animes when I'm not watching One Piece. Even the manga Dandadan caught my attention after a few chapters because even though it is mostly a shonen, high energy, big cool anime fights, I'm really drawn to the love story. I'm a sucker for a good love story. So this chapter, let me tell you, was a good love story. It's not a long love story. In fact, the chapter itself's not long, which is why my little intro thing here is long. But it's a love story nonetheless. That being said, hello Internet, I am the hero of Julios once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is 1161, A Song of Love, Bound Under a Hail of Arrows. Probably one of the longest chapter titles we've had. But the art this week is actually a double feature. We get two artworks. We get our usual cover story, which is Yamato visiting the grave of Odin, as well as the other martyrs that suffered during Orochi's rule. It's a somber moment. A good conclusion to Yamato's journey is to pay respects to those who came before. But the other artwork we got this week is the opposite. Very high energy, very adorable. We have the Straw Hat crew and a crane game. We see various members of the crew have the plushies of their loved ones. Luffy's got a big armful. He's got the Shanks one. He's got the Roger, or not the Roger. He's got the Garp. He's got Sabo and Ace, obviously. He's got a Dadan one. Sanji has collected every female character he can get his hands on. Zoro is using a giant Shirahoshi plush as a pillow. Meanwhile, you see Frankie scrounging up as much money as he can, trying to find, check the couch cushions kind of thing, because we got to get enough quarters, because Usopp, who is very careful, very concentrated on the joystick, is trying to get one very specific plushie. Not a plushie at all. It's Chopper. Chopper's trapped in the machine. You see a very worried Robin, who, because that's her son. Her son is trapped, and the whole crew. Meanwhile, Jinbei is just sleeping. Also, Brooks the hook that Usopp's using to try and grab Chopper, because there's this other guy trying to grab a plush from the machine with the real claw. So very interesting. I don't know, just a fun little artwork by Oda. It's nice. I like the big color spreads, and it's actually really cool to see that we got a color spread and our usual chapter art. So, without further ado, let's get into the actual chapter itself. Like I said, this chapter doesn't actually have it has a lot of important moments, but not a lot of things happen specifically. We have Garp, who is looking for Roger. We have Roger, who is looking for Shaki. We have Rox, who is looking for Eris. I believe that's the name I wrote down here. Yes, Eris and Teach. So we now know the name of Davy D. Eris, I believe, is the name of his wife, unless his wife has a different last name, because we know like Goldie Roger and Portgas D. Rouge were a thing. So, but then again, I don't know if Roger necessarily married Portgas D. Rouge. I don't know. We are definitely seeing, hopefully, the sparks of moments that turn Roger into the mature individual he was at the end of his journey. This may come into fruition later when we see the battle between him, Rox, and more likely Emu than anything. But as this chaos is going on, Dragon, who has, the two babies, he's trying to get away, he's trying to get safe, and unfortunately for him, he is found. This big monster lady, the one I was saying looks kind of like Gecko Moria from the right angle. Her name is Saint Maffy Satchel. Yes, this big monster lady also has the ability to shoot lasers from her mouth. She pierces Dragon with one, sending him to the ground. The two babies go flying, and she scoops up one of them. I don't know who she's talking to on the transponder snail, but she says, "Okay, I got the baby. I got Garling's little brat. I'm really shocked someone was even bold enough to steal this, but yeah, okay, I'm bringing him back." And on the other end, it's like, "Oh, thank you so much. Garling would have killed me over this." So I don't know who this person is. I know Garling outranks, let me check her name again, Maffy. I know he outranks her. So maybe she's worried about this too, but I don't know who the person that sent her on this mission is. She doesn't have a lot of time to celebrate her victory, though, as a slash cuts through most of the forest and her, slicing her in half. Now, of course, we see in a couple panels later she's fine because, as we all know, the Holy Knights all have regenerative power. But this blast comes from none other than Edward Newgate himself, as he is just clearing enemies left and right. Meanwhile, someone is yelling in his ear, telling him, that attack almost killed me. I'm positive you tried to kill me just now. And Newgate is with Linlin. And he tells her, listen, there were enemies ahead of us. You just happened to be too close. I'm not going after anyone. And she's like, Bull, you're a liar. I'm going to kick your butt right here and now. All the while, poor little dragon is stuck staring up at these titans. He's not Luffy. He doesn't have this I will fight the devil or become him attitude. He looks at them and he says, my God, those pirates are huge. I gotta get out of here. And as he's looking for an escape route, that's when Shiki shows up and he's yelling at Newgate, and Kaido shows up. He's calling Linlin a liar about something. And the four of them end up surrounded by a bunch of other pirates. And all these pirates are like, oh my gosh, if we take these guys down now, we'll be world famous. And Newgate's like, really? And then Linlin's like, really? And Kaido's like, okay, I like fighting. And Shiki's like, yeah, let's do this. And they just wipe the floor with all these pirates. You would think that would be the end of all that shenaniganery. However, an individual sees this chaos in the distance and says, oh ho, it seems I have found a prime fishing spot. As he leaps into the air and says, come here, you Neptunians, as Garp lands down a big old fist. And judging by the crackling black lightning around him, I don't know. I know the wiki, the wiki seems to be gung-ho that Garp is a user of Conqueror's Haki based on what we saw with Galaxy Impact. I, on the other hand, don't think that's true. I'll do a little more research, but I'm pretty sure I haven't seen anything that confirmed Garp was a Conqueror's user. I'm not saying I wouldn't believe it if he was, but I'm pretty sure he isn't. And if he is, I'll put this here at the bottom. Yep, it's me again, Hero in the editing room. Yes, I did look it up. His most recent Vivera card does confirm he is a Conqueror's Haki user. So we'll take this moment to also put bets on Garp. Since Luffy and Garp have it, it's probably possible that Dragon has it as well. So I'm not super shocked. But yeah, sorry about that little misconception. So back to the video. Garp is really, really strong, though. And boy, howdy was he really, really strong, because as he shows up and blasts the ground in front of him, Linlin, Kaido, Shiki, Edward, the four of them just start booking it away from him. Linlin's like, we don't have time for this. Newgate's like, we don't have time to fight Garp right now. Kaido's like, wait, there's like four of us. Can't we take him? I want to fight him. I don't know if you guys saw the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie, but there's a scene near the beginning of the movie where Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, they all see Shadow the Hedgehog for the first time, and not Knuckles. Sonic is like, listen, I don't want to fight you. And Knuckles just goes, actually, I very much would like to fight this guy. That's Kaido. That's Kaido in this scenario. So as they are all running away from Garp, Dragon, looking on in awe as these titans start fleeing, he turns and he's like, oh my gosh, that's my dad. Dad, why is Dad here? Whatever, okay, I don't know, I gotta find a way to atone for what I've done. And there's baby Shanks on the ground with a little bump on his head. Now, this does just seem like, oh, that's funny, that's comedic, Shanks had a little bump on his head, that's funny. A friend of mine pointed out that Goku, from the very famous Dragon Ball series, also had a bump on the head as a baby that more or less knocked the evil out of him. I think that would be a hilarious reference if Oda was just like, yep, Shanks would have been exactly like Garling, but he got a bump on the head as a kid. So as all this chaos is going on outside, we cut back to Shaki, sitting there, chained up, waiting for her doom, when a door opens. And my favorite member of the Holy Knights walks in. That's right, it's Sommers! Yay! The Thorn guy! He's so cool! I would like to clarify that I actually think Sommers' fruit is really, really cool. I like his power. He's just awful and stupid. He is a great example of A tier devil fruit with F tier user. Like, sometimes Odon nerfs a good devil fruit by giving it to somebody who will not use it to its full potential. For example, as much as I absolutely adore Perona, she has an A tier devil fruit, but she is a D tier user. Because all she wants to do with it is give petty pirates depression if they don't let her have her stuffed animals. If you give that woman enough stuffed animals to fill a canyon, she will leave you alone. That's it. That's all she wants. She could give Kaido depression, although Kaido already has depression. She could give Kaido depression and defeat the 4 Emperors of the Sea. In fact, she did defeat one of the 4 Emperors of the Sea. Granted, Luffy wasn't an emperor yet, but that is on Perona's record as one of the people who has defeated Luffy. Nope, nothing else for the friend. Foxy is another great example. User of the slow fruit, could stop an oncoming burning inferno from Lin. Uses it to cheat at carnival games. Now again, I will say Foxy is the prophet of Zebek because he's the only other pirate who's actually using the Davy back fight method. But again, A tier fruit, D tier user. Long story short, Sommers sucks and I don't like him. And Sommers gives me another reason to dislike him as he walks into this room and he looks at Shaki and he goes, well. Nothing hurts me more than to see a woman not knowing her place and blah 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 and misogyny this and I'm so great. Anyways, long story short, little woman, I, the great Sommers, who is terrible at everything but keeps acting like I'm not, am obviously going to lose this hunting competition. I suck at what I do. I spent like the first 3 hours trying to get a kid to jump out of a tree. So I got like 8 points. Garling has like 600,000 right now. It's clear I'm not going to win. I'm not even going to come in like 3rd place. I'm not even going to come in last. Weirdly enough, they actually made a new tier of losing for me specifically. Regardless, I figure it would be more fun if I just kill the grand prize. So I'm going to do that. And some of the Marines around are like, St. Sommers, won't Garling be mad at you? And he's like, no, if you guys keep your mouths shut, which you will, I'll just chalk this up to an accident. Oh no, falling debris killed her. It was horrible. And it just happens to be death by thorns. Don't look at me. Where did you think this plan was going to go? Regardless, he decides he's just going to puncture the ball so that nobody can play kickball anymore because he has a limp leg. Rant aside, as Sommers is gloating about how much he's going to hurt her, she actually gets a couple good hits in. She kicks him in the face, and he grabs her leg and throws her to the ground, and he's getting ready to hurt her really bad. Meanwhile, Roger is this close to saving her. He's just so close, but oh no, Edward Newgate is in the way. We know what their clashes look like, so he's too busy with that. Too many other enemies around. It's just a free-for-all out here because instead of everyone working together to save Shaki, everyone is at war to be the first one to save Shaki. But Roger actually decides to make a firm decision as captain. He says, gosh dang it, I can't pull this off. Rayleigh, you gotta go save her while I hold off the enemy. And Rayleigh leaps into action, bursts through the door, tells Sommers that he is gonna put some lilies on his grave, and sends him flying. Man, Rayleigh, you're so cool. Rayleigh's such a cool guy. I mean, I know Sommers survives the attack because we see him in the future. That's the downside of flashbacks. But I enjoy that every time I see Sommers, it's like St. Charlos. I just know someone's gonna punch him later, and now my brain tells me, oh good, I see him, pain is coming. But as the guy goes flying, Rayleigh looks at Shockey, and she has this brief moment of a memory of the note that she gave him that said, come and make me yours. Come and get me. And Rayleigh says, I have come to get you. And that's when she starts crying. She goes to hug him, but she's chained, so he just wraps his arms around her. She tells him how scared she was, and how she's mad at him for being late, and he says, I'm sorry, I'll never let this happen again. And as he's talking, he's interrupted by Roger and Gabon just yelling at him. Their hearts broken. You can see the little cracked hearts in their speech bubbles as they just tell Rayleigh, will ya shut up, grab your girl, and let's get out of here. The two of them knew this was how it was going to end. This is three best friends, two of them finally acknowledging that bro got the girl and they need to back off. And yeah, with that, they are all saved. This is the happy ending. Obviously nothing else happens at God Valley, so we'll probably end the flashback and we'll get back to Loki, and yeah, we'll see what happens after that. So definitely nothing else crazy will happen at God Valley. Just a wonderful, beautiful love story, and honestly, I'm happy for it. In all seriousness, though, we're still not even halfway done with the craziness that's going to happen at God Valley. We still need to see Rox and his kid. We still need to see what happens that actually causes Roger and Garp to team up. Who knows what's going to happen here, but it's not over, and I would love to hear in the comments what you think's going to happen next. Regardless, though, thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.